You know, we struggle not because of the problems outside of ourselves imposing upon us, but because of the lack inside ourselves, namely the lack of trust in God's provision, love and care. We lack the full consciousness of God. That's what we need to be addressing, not changing the external world. We're really not terribly interested in changing the outside of the garden. What we should be interested in, from the point of view of happiness and fullness of life, is what's lacking inside ourselves. We need to focus on kingdom of heaven within. The more we're aware of that, the more we get the outside of the garden in perspective and know it to be what it is, a classroom to train us and bring us into a more complete and eternal relationship with God, inside in the kingdom of heaven within us. The distress that you might be experiencing from the world is only there because you're not more aware, not more conscious of God's presence, which is eternally within you. Your solution to the world's problems, as you see it, as a child, is to focus upon not the problems in the world, but the presence of God within you, your Dad. We do this by relating to God. So we take the problem of the world and we use it as the very source of turning to God with our attention. And we can do that by thanking Him for the lesson. Whether we thought the day was good or bad, say, thank you, Miss So-and-so, doing such and such. Thank you that I had to do such and such. Thank you that you allowed it for a blessing. Can't see what the blessing is, Lord, although I did like the story time, that was good. And I do like going out to play. Yes, I enjoyed that. Oh, and it is fun having friends, and it's nice sitting next to so-and-so. Do you see? But you're relating it all back to God. And it's the awareness of His presence from this activity that you are relating it back to Him, praying to Him in gratitude for the day. His provision, His care is bringing you through. His rescue. The difficulties, the things you're a bit worried about tomorrow, take it to the Lord in prayer. And in this relating it, the impact that this world is having on you, giving you the very substance on which to relate to God with, where His presence will transform you, your confidence, your faith, your trust, your hope, your joy, your peace, your power, life, love, all blessing will be yours. Not at some future date, but as you do it. Practice being thankful to God. You'll see for yourself. You'll have proved it to be the case. And proved it to be the case specifically for yourself at that. Taste and see. Thank you, Heavenly Father. So do you see, even if we're in some furious struggle with demons, we wouldn't be if we were totally anchored, fixed in concentration on the presence of God in us and therefore in the situation. That is why some people have what we call a ministry of casting out demons. Very unfortunate phrase all round, but they have this extraordinary ministry because they exercise an absolute trust in God's presence and authority and willingness to exorcise the demon. And that results in this amazing effectiveness, this amazing ministry. And very few people have it. And you can have it whether you're Christian or not, in the sense that you can exercise this, if you like, utter conviction of the ability to do it, without necessarily being terribly godly, having the right theology, or having anything else particularly right. And it can be very peculiar in that it's narrowly defined. By it I mean your ability to be aware of God's presence. It's narrowly defined to this particular type of situation where you're casting out. It's a bit like being a prophet. You can be a prophet without having the right theology. You know, nobody's saying that Jonah really had the right attitude and spiritual makeup. Yet he was still being used as a prophet. In some ways against his will even. Not because he was this wonderful, saintly, godly, Jesus-like man. So these ministries are amazing, but not to be sought in themselves, quite honestly. What you need is the full relationship with God. And some people that have these ministries may well have that full relationship, and some probably don't, whether they know it or not. In Eastern religion we say, well, these supernatural powers may fascinate you, but that's not really what things are about. You may be some amazing fakir with ability to materialize food from out of the air and a fantastic feast, but it's toys compared to the real relationship and oneness with God. And that's what you should really be valuing and seeking. The rest really can even become quite a worldliness of not the fullness of spiritual life that is really what you need. So, if you're just doing it to seek after these amazing ministries and powers, you're really not going to get anywhere. If they come to you because of a fullness of relationship with God, well, that's just wonderful, isn't it? Otherwise, they can actually be a hindrance. Can be. Don't mean necessarily are. Can be a great encouragement, and a great encouragement to those around. But certainly what we really need is the full, loving relationship with our Heavenly Father. And that's unarguable, isn't it? I mean, it's just so obvious. Thank you, Heavenly Father.
Remember, if you want to know if a person's got the right theology and beliefs, you don't ask him. You simply quietly observe how he behaves, how he lives, where he lives, what he does, how he spends his money, his time, his resources, who he relates to, what company he keeps, what his pastimes are. You'll know what he values, what he believes. You'll know who he is spiritually. Could be waving some flag of, word of knowledge or tongues or healing power or prophetic. That's got nothing to do with it. You're looking at the overall person. Is this a godly person? You just quietly observe it. It's not judging. It's simply observing how they behave, what they do, how they live. That tells you what they've been drawn to, who they are. I could sit for hours in Mum's company. We'd hardly say a word. Just happy to be in each other's company, and we knew it. You'll find out who you're in harmony with and why. So choose your company accordingly. You find you do anyway to some extent. People select themselves in and out accordingly of each other's company. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Am I a recluse? No, I delight in being in the company of the people of God and in God's company always. I'm happy to help others, but there's not much point if they don't want it. You can suggest certain things, make them look a bit attractive so they might just taste and see. Be available. Thank you, Heavenly Father.